really shouldn't have to introduce this podcast. You already know. It's a crazy little thing called Lovdev. Today's episode is 123. Sink or swim. Yesterday, I had such a busy day, right? I'll tell you all about it. I had to do another speed awareness course. I say another, I've already done it 2 times. So this one was my third one. if you're in the UK and you go over 10 miles an hour above the whatever the speed limit is, the police will normally offer you a speed awareness course. I got caught speeding because somebody was on the motorway. Now, there was 4 lanes and this person was in the 3rd lane. I don't know why they were not in the 1st lane, to be honest with you. And just as I was overtaking them, it happened to be under one of those speed camera barrier things. People know what I'm talking about. There was no speed limit up at the time, but I do know the motorway is 70 miles an hour. Because I was overtaking him and I was doing 80, I got flashed. And I'm quite annoyed about that because I felt like it should have been them who got to do not a speed awareness course, but they should have had some consequence because of that. They were driving slow and they were in the 3rd lane. They should have been in the left lane. And because of that, I got a ticket. And the police offered me a speed awareness course. As I said, it was my 3rd one. It's like you get one every 3 years. So if you do a speed awareness course and then you get caught again within 3.5 years, they just basically give you points, and that affects your insurance, and that stays up to 5 years on your insurance, which is not good because car insurance is already expensive as it is. I had to do that, but I felt like I knew all the answers. I didn't tell them it was my 3rd one. I'm sure they know. I remember when I had to register to book my course, they said that this email address has already been used. So I had to use another email address. I've got 2 different ones. I've got my work one and I've got another one that I use for Microsoft, my Xbox and stuff. And I couldn't remember which one it was. And they didn't even send me a reminder, which was really weird. I thought they would have sent me an email saying, don't forget, you got your course tomorrow. Here's the link. So I was panicking. I thought it started at 9:15. And I went online and I was panicking and I couldn't find the link. But luckily I found it because it was Warwickshire Police who gave me the fine. I had to go on their website and then find the link that way. Luckily, I already saved my password and stuff on my computer. So I could log in. Yeah, so I had to do that. Oh man, it was such a busy day yesterday. I did that. And then I had a little meeting with my agent. Just a little catch up. And then after that, I had to drop my daughter to a concert, so she went to go and see Troye Sivan. I think that's his name. He's an Australian singer, pop star there. I think he's big in Australia. He's not as big like outside, but he has made a couple of tracks. He made one tune with Ariana that I love. You know, it's that song, what's it called? You can just dance to this, touch up her body. You can just dance to this. Na 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 na. I think I messed it up near the end. Anyway, that's the only song I know of his that he sang with Ariana Grande 5 years ago. And my daughter was at the concert and he sang that song and my daughter went screaming. She went, "Dad, this is for you. You can just dance to this. Touch up my body." I'm actually looking forward to tonight's gig. It's a corporate. I did one last week, right? I did this football club in Prestatyn. I got there and it looked proper rough, mate. They all look like scallies, you know, like the lads. They look like they were off the streets, man. I thought I was in a ghetto part of Wales. That's where Prestatyn is, right? And I was chatting to one of the lads there, and he went, nah, it's quite posh around here. And I went, nah. And he went, yeah, man, it is. I was like, how come all these lads look like, you know, you can get a bag of sniff off them? That's what it looked like to me. It looked like they were all from Real, I think. One of them said most of them are from Real, and Real is quite rough. And I was like, it still does look a bit rough around here. Like, it was a little football club that this guy named James runs it. Nice lad. He contacted me at lastminute.com, asked me if I could come up and do a bit of comedy, which I did. I'll be honest, it wasn't the greatest gig. It was quite tough, man. I thought to myself, I'm just going to have to do 30 minutes, crack on, look at the people who are listening and laughing, and I'll just do that. So I've got another one of them today, but hopefully it's going to be way better. I'll tell you a bit more about that later on. How about we go and crack on with the podcast and do a
Ask the UK.
The heavens has always opened up for me, folks. This question kind of relates to what I was talking about press tatting and, you know, working class areas, middle class areas. This question just came to me like magic, I'll be honest. I don't even predict, I don't even like make all this up, do you know what I mean? I go on the website, I find a question, and it's always like the top 3 or 4. And this one just suits what I'm going to ask you guys. Well, answer, should I say. So Ask the UK, as I said, posted by Desperate Alpaca. Desperate Alpaca. The question Desperate Alpaca has asked is, how have you survived in a middle-class environment as a working-class person? Now, this question I can relate to straight away. Being a comedian, we travel a lot. We go to a lot of middle-class areas. I think I already stand out being brown. Makes a massive difference. You don't get many ethnic people in middle-class areas. Now, don't get me wrong, there are. There are some. There's not many, though. And I've been to pure white middle-class areas. The problem with middle-class areas as a comedian, for myself, this is talking on my own self, right? A lot of them don't know about the ghetto. Do you know what I mean? They don't know much about the culture. All they know is their village, their town, you know, the nearest city, probably. That's about it. I would say a very small minority will know. Maybe they've got Asian, black, Chinese, whatever, friends, right? But not English. It can be difficult. So for me, personally, it's up and down, really, you know. Some bits they get, some bits they don't get. You have to, and I get it all the time. I'll come off, right? This is a middle class gig, not a city gig. I'll always get some audience member going, mate, half of these lot were thick. And I'm like, yeah, I know. He said, they don't know much about the Asian culture. I said, I kind of gathered that. But this person, Desperate Alpaca, is probably asking, like, what's it like to live in a middle class area as a working class person? I think you could survive. It's just I don't know what middle class people are like, man. They're normally polite. They normally are polite. I don't really know, man. All I know is I drive into a middle class area and I drive back out. But one thing about middle class areas, they're all nice, aren't they? You don't see no betting shops. You don't see license, charity shops. You probably will get a charity shop, and I bet there's some nice stuff in that charity shop because everyone's minted in middle class areas. You go to charity shops round by me, and half of the stuff in there is crap. It's stuff that people don't want, isn't it? Middle class areas is totally different. I want to read further on what they're saying. So, Desperate Alpaca said, I grew up in a council flat on an estate filled with druggies and gangs. I've been there, mate. With a single-parent immigrant mom. I had 2. Not moms, but you know what I mean. We survived on her working overtime as a nurse and on state benefits. Somehow, I made it to medical school, married a middle-class man, and his friends became my main friends plus my own friends from med school. I'm now in my early 30s, and with each passing year, it's becoming more apparent how well off they all are. Frequent lavish holidays, yachts, skiing, first-time buyers of houses in London of 900k. Wow. Plus, because of humongous deposits from their parents, it's completely normal to them. It's like we live in a different world. Sometimes I don't even understand my husband's worldview. So far, the only way to fit in has to be a lie. The reality is, I'm a doctor who acts posh, but is living paycheck to paycheck. I expected that becoming a doctor would push me into the middle class, but I'm not sure that it has. Fake it till you make it doesn't seem to be working. That's a really interesting post. So I understand. Basically, she's a ghetto girl, innit? She's a ghetto girl. She became a doctor, and now she lives in a middle class area, and she can't live in that world. I totally understand what she's trying to say. I don't know if I could live in that same world. Like, all right, yeah, a nice holiday now and again. You know, us working class people. Yachts never happen. Skiing, we don't do that. First time buyers, yeah, I was a first time buyer, but my house was worth more than 900k. I just had my son walking into me, looking at me like, "What? Who's Dad talking to? I'm doing a podcast, son." So yeah, 900k. You know, a lot of money, man. Your first house, 900k. Wow. How many houses could you buy with that in a working class area? At least two and a half, maybe. 2 houses and a little flat. That's probably what you can get. But 900k, man, we'll just buy one house in it, pay the mortgage off, man. Are these people just like buy the house outright, or is it there's a 900k deposit and then they pay the rest on top? So that means it's got to be over $1 million, isn't it? And it's normal to them. That's crazy. That it is a different world, though. That's what I mean. Like, you know, I've always been working class, and I'm a proud working class person. I'll be honest. Work for working class people. This country won't be nowhere, man. And that's the truth. It's nice to live in a nice area. Like you guys know me. Those of you listen to my podcast from the beginning will know I've lived in all sorts of areas in Birmingham, and where I am now. Yeah, when we got here, it was not. It had its ups and downs, but that's like every other town, isn't it? You know. But now it's getting better. There's a lot more money going into the communities and stuff. I don't know, man. I'm glad I lived in a working class area. I'll be honest, because it's made me the person who I am. I learned about so many different cultures. I've got friends from different races. I'm into music that I shouldn't be into. Do you know what I mean? If it weren't for working class areas, I would never know about garage, rave, rap. You know what I mean? Hip hop, Bhangra, stuff like that. So if I was in a middle class area, I'd probably be listening to Beethoven. That's the truth. So yeah, working class areas what's made me, and I will always be a working class person. You know, that's why we did Best in Class up in Edinburgh. It's for working class comics who can't get on that comedy ladder because their dad works for some company that is part of a TV production team. You know, that's basically the reality of it. Desperate Alpaca has asked, she's wondering how others have survived in this kind of environment, or what your experiences were. I have never lived in a middle class area, so I can't answer that question. But I did share my experiences of obviously doing gigs in middle class areas. Interestingly, one person has put down, middle class is such a huge range that it's not even a term that's fit for a purpose anymore. I think we were middle class. My parents owned a business, and once that was up and running, we weren't short of money. Couple of holidays a year, and generally not worried about money day to day. That is light years away from a 900k house and anything lavish. What they're trying to say is, long time ago, when times were good, you know, people were spending money, and I suppose maybe middle class people are, you know, not as middle class as they used to be. When you see an Aldi near a middle class area, they're struggling a little bit, I suppose. But then businesses are struggling. Do you know what? You can't change who you are. You can't change the way you were born. You can't change your race, and you can't change your religion unless you've got one. So we're all born into something. The main thing is respect to each other, look out for each other, and we'll all be happy. Happy doody. Talking about looking after each other, so I was going to tell you about my corporate gig today, and it's going to be in Worcester. It's part of a Canada Day, right? So this person booked me via a website, private booking, said they loved my videos, they love what I do. They want me to do their performance for them for their Canada Day. So I think I've mentioned it once. I might have. Anyway, I'm looking forward to it. So that's today, right? And that's going to be held in an igloo. So I'll be wondering. It's going to be in an igloo. And it's all Canada themed. I think they got a moose, they got a Canadian guard or something. And they got it's all Canada themed because I believe it's Canada Independence Day. Yes, it is. It's Canada Independence Day today. Funny enough, as the podcast was released, Monday the 1st of July is Canada Independent. I just got my words muddled up then. Canada Independence Day. That's it. It's a mouthful. So that's today. If you are Canadian and you're celebrating, happy Independence Day to you guys. I have been to Canada. It's a great country. If I had the money, I probably would live there. I would go again and just, I'd check it out again. Make sure if this is where I really want to stay. See how good the comedy scene is there. I'm sure I'll get a job in care in Canada. But yeah, I would love to go. I would love to live in Canada. Maybe for 6 months. Check it out. Live there for a bit. See if it suits me. If it doesn't come back to the UK. I'll see what state it is. By then, we'll have the new Prime Minister. God knows who it is. Might still be Rishi, but I tend not to talk about politics too much on my podcast, which some of you guys probably noticed, and that's why you listen to this. So I'm not going to go down that route. But I am looking forward to the gig, as I said, and I will fill you guys in the following week and let you all know how it went. I might make a couple of videos, so if you follow me on Instagram and Facebook, Lovdev Barpaga, comedian, you will find me. Please do follow me. And I would always love a good feedback because I've got so many listeners. I've got a regular one in Las Vegas. Now, I don't know if this... I feel like I've met this person because when I went Vegas 5 years ago, I spoke to a few people there and I told them that I do a podcast and I was a radio DJ and stuff like that. At the time, I was doing radio then and I didn't have the podcast. So I'm wondering if it's that same person who followed me because of me being a comic, or is it just someone totally random out there? I'm not sure. If you guys can reach out to me, tell me a bit about yourselves. I'll give you a little plug. It'd be really interesting to me. Maybe your first name. You don't have to give me your full name or a nickname, whatever they call you. Tell me where you're from, how old are you, what is it you love about listening to this podcast. I would love to know, man. I would love to know. Anyway, let's crack on and do a no stupid question. Let's see what comes up. Here's a funny no stupid question. This one's been put up by Technical Cloud. And the question they have asked is, do babies really can't even say the word. Do babies really instinctually swim if put in water? And has anyone tested it with a baby? I think they're trying to say instantly. They've spelt it wrong. Anyway, do babies really instantly swim if they're put in water? I don't know, man. I know people have childbirths, right? I've never seen a childbirth. I don't know why I said that. It's not like I hang about in maternity wards waiting for a baby to be born in a bathtub. But you can have that option. And I'm wondering is it more natural to have a birth in a bath? And why do they do it in a bath? Does the water go the thing and then it kind of washes the baby out? Is there a reason behind all of this? Now that's very interesting, which probably could turn into material, thinking about it. So babies who get born in water, is that because we came from water? So a lot of scientists think we came from water, innit? That's where life started, obviously. If there ain't no water, there is no life. So maybe that's why people have water births. This reminds me of, is it Nirvana? I might get this wrong, but I know there's an album and there's it's a picture of a baby swimming. I don't know if it's a pool or in the sea. It's got to be a pool, innit? You wouldn't give birth in the sea, would you? All that salt water would just like sting, wouldn't it, down there? But at least the baby would come out clean, I suppose. Yeah. If I was a woman, I think I would have a go at that. A water birth. Just to see what it's like. I don't think the baby would drown straight away, would it? Maybe, like, it's like a fish, yeah. You know when the fishes are born, they come out and they can instantly swim in the water. Maybe that's what a baby can do. Maybe that's what... I think this is what he's trying to say. Has anyone tested it? So he's put down, I heard something like this a while ago. The question was originally, if I threw 10 babies in a pool, how many would survive an hour later? That is funny. And then he put, I decided to take a calmer approach. That is hilarious. So I'm going to read the comments from what people have put down. So one person wrote, they don't swim, they just instinctively hold their breath so you can put them underwater and take an album cover picture, but you have to bring them back to the surface to breathe before they run out of oxygen. Oh, it is Nirvana. Yeah, that's what they're on about. Is us Nirvana. Smells like Teen Spirit. One person has put down they will stop breathing when put underwater, but can't actually take in and hold a big breath. And they'll kind of kick their legs, which is theorized to be left over a reflex. The same way babies' toes grip like an ape feet to grasp branches. But no, they can't swim. I don't think a newborn baby can instantly swim. That's what he means, isn't it? Because I'm picturing like a much older baby, only because of that Nirvana album cover. Babies don't come out like that, do they? Babies come out ugly, man. It's true. They all look like Gollum. That's what babies look like. So the answer to that question is no, they can't instantly swim. But I do like his original question. If you threw 10 babies in a pool, how many would survive? That's brilliant. Before we do the weird news story, is anyone sick of Facebook? I'm absolutely fed up with it now. I've got to a point, I just want to delete my account, but I can't because of the comedy forum. So that's how we get our gigs for you non-comedians out there. I'm sure a lot of you have been thinking about Facebook. It's just getting worse. I'm getting like random videos on my feed. I'm getting adverts, loads of adverts. I'm getting stuff I really do not want to see. Like these fake AI pictures. I've never been in a group like it. You know, like someone will put, oh, praise Jesus, and it's a picture of a girl who's clearly not real, and she's got no legs or arms, but she's got like these robotic arms, and you can tell it's so CGI, and behind it there's a picture of Jesus, but it's made out from a tree, and it's just like, why? But why is this on Facebook? I don't understand. Then I'm getting friend requests of people who I don't even know. I've had people accept friends, right? Clearly hackers. One guy even called himself Stephen Hacker. And I looked on his account and it just had pictures of fake money. So fake British pounds, fake euro, credit cards with PIN numbers on them. And I'm like, who is this person? And I looked to see how many of my friends actually added him. And there was six people. And then there was another account. I can't remember what it was. I think it was a woman. I can't remember. There's loads of people just adding. Like, I'm getting sick of Facebook now. Absolutely, I'm getting fed up with it. I'm that fed up. I feel like let's just do a weird news story. Let's get our minds off it. Believe it or not, this weird news story is not from the USA. I know. I couldn't believe it as well when I found it. Weird stuff does happen outside of the USA. So I knew this because of the title of the story, and I'll be honest, I was so happy to see it. I've got nothing against you, my American brothers and sisters. I love you all. I love you. I love your country. But you know when you have done too many of your weird news stuff, I bet even you guys get fed up with it. You're like, yeah, I've already heard this one. This comes on our national news. This is the reason why I do this weird news story, because you don't see it on the news. Do you know what I mean? That's the reason I do it. This story comes all the way for the first time as well. I don't think I've ever done a weird news story from this country. For the first time on a crazy little thing called Lovdev, episode 123, or 123, is Maldives ministers arrested for black magic on President Moizu. Moizu? Something like that. Anyway, whatever. His name's Moise. Let's call him Moise. Police refrain from sharing any information about reasons behind the alleged crime. Police have arrested 2 ministers along with 2 other suspects for allegedly performing black magic on a Maldives president, Dr. Mohamed Moise. According to media reports, shout out to President Dr. Mohamed Moise. So he's a doctor and he's a president. Amazing. The ministers facing charges of sorcery are Fatima Shamanaz Ali Salim. That's somebody's name. That's not a magic spell. Oh, make myself laugh. Fatima Shamanaz Ali Salim. Oh God, that's somebody's name, folks. All right, it's not a magic spell. The State Minister for Environment, Climate Change and Energy. Oh, that's what she does. I wonder if she does sorcery for, like, the weather. Her ex-husband, whose name's Adam Ramiz, who's also a minister at the President's office, and 2 others. The Climate Minister has been remanded in custody for a week, pending investigations, officers said, without giving details for her arrest in the mysterious matter. There have been reports that Shamnaz was arrested for performing black magic. Oh, she was doing black magic. She got arrested for performing black magic on President Moise. Let's call him President Moise. So President Moise got black magicked. Said The Sun, which is a local media outlet. They got a media outlet called The Sun in Maldives. That's hilarious, man. We've got a newspaper. This is for the non-UK listeners. We've got a newspaper called The Sun in the UK. And it's just full of rubbish. No, anyway, here we go. Let's crack on. Notably, both Shamnaz and Ramiz were known to have worked with Moise as members of the Mail City Council when he was serving as the city's mayor, reported the Economic Times. Police would neither confirm nor deny the report and have declined to share any information about the reasons for the alleged performance of black magic. Shamnaz holds an important position in a nation which remains on the front lines of the climate crisis, with the UN environment experts warning that rising seas could make Maldives virtually uninhabitable by the end of the century. Sorcery is not a criminal offence under the penal code in the Muslim-majority country, but it does carry a 6-month jail sentence under Islamic law. Right, okay. People across the picturesque archipelago widely practice traditional ceremonies, believing they can win favours and curse opponents. Previously, a 62-year-old woman was stabbed to death by 3 neighbours on a Manado in April after she was accused of conducting black magic rituals. The Miharo news site reported last week after a lengthy police investigation. It quoted police as saying that they had failed to find any evidence the murder victim performed sorcery. In 2012, police cracked down on an opposition political rally after accusing organisers of throwing a cursed rooster at officers raiding their offices. That's the end of the story. So basically, she's been arrested, this woman has, because they think she's done black magic on the president of Maldives. Madness, man. People are mad out there, isn't it? It happens all over that part of the world. They're absolutely bonkers. There we have it. That was today's weird news story, all the way from Maldives. Amazing. I don't know what next week's going to be like. I hope I get a Canadian one. That'd be good. I'll try and find a Canadian weird news story, and I'll let you guys all know about how the gig went. Stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks for listening.